Srimad Bhagavad Gita, chapter 3, title Karma Yoga. There's a lot of noise. Verse number 32. Someone can share. Kindly mute. Kindly mute. Kindly mute. Kindly mute your lines. Mataji's. Okay. 3.32 Karma Yoga, verse number 32. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudirayat Nasta Prayeshu Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Sloke Bhakti Bhavati Naistiki. Harihi Om Tat Sat. Okay. 3.32 एतत् अभ्यसूयन्तो न अनुतिष्ठन्ति मे मतम् सर्वज्ञानविमूढांस्तान् विद्धि नष्टान् चेतसः एतत् अभ्यसूयन्तो न अनुतिष्ठन्ति मे मतम् सर्वज्ञान विमूढांस्तान् विद्धि नष्टान् चेतसः एतदभ्यसूयन्तो नानुतिष्ठन्ति मे मतं सर्वज्ञान विमूढांस्तान् विद्धि नष्टान् चेतसः. Word translation. Those two, however, this abhyasuyanta, out of envy, do not Anutishtanti, regularly perform, me, my, matam, injunction, sarvajnana, in all sorts of knowledge, vimudan, perfectly befooled, tan, they are, vidhi, know it well, nastan, all ruined, achetasaha, without Krishna consciousness. Translation by Divangage A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada ki jai. But those who, out of envy, disregard these teachings and do not follow them regularly are to be considered bereft of all knowledge, befooled and ruined in their endeavors for perfection. Please repeat. But those who, out of envy, disregard these teachings and do not follow them regularly are to be considered bereft of all knowledge, befooled and ruined in their endeavors for perfection. Purport. The flaw of not being Krishna conscious is clearly stated herein. As there is punishment for disobedience to the order of the Supreme Executive Head, so there is certainly punishment for disobedience to the order of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. A disobedient person, however great he may be, is ignorant of his own self and of the Supreme Brahman, Paramatma, and the personality of Godhead, due to a vacant heart. Therefore, there is no hope of perfection of life for him. Try to understand this verse. Om Ajnanatamidandasya Jnananjana Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namah. Mukam Karoti Vachalam Pangum Langete Grim Yatkrupa Tamham Vande Sri Gurum Denatarinam Paramananda Madhavam Sri Chaitanya Iswaram Vancha Kalpatarubhyasya Krupa Sindhupe Vacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah. Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Sri Vasadi Gaura Bhaktavrinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Sri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupah Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam. Srila Rupa Goswami Prabhupada ki jai. Gopal ki jai, Gaur Bhakta ki jai. Thank you for joining. So we are discussing from third chapter Karma Yoga, verse number 32. So here in this section, first of all, understand the context where we are in this particular verse, in this chapter. So this chapter has many sections to it. As verse number 1, we see Arjuna is asking question to Krishna, why you are asking me to engage in this ghastly warfare if you think that intelligence is better than fruitive work. So he has a question because of the second chapter. Krishna explained in various different ways. So he was doubtful whether actually he needs to work or he needs to renounce. So that's the first section 1 to 9, or rather 3 to 9. First and second is more of a question from Arjuna. So it's 1 to 9 is called actual renunciation of work or work in devotion, or you can say renunciation or work, which one? So that's what is the question, and then Krishna is emphasizing work in devotion. So because the first 6 chapters are predominantly talking about the Karma Yoga specifically. The whole Bhagavad Gita in essence is to transform our material activities into spiritual activities. So karma is underlying factor is there everywhere. So with that said, and then the next section we see from the 10th to 16 is changing from, Krishna started explaining, this is called Karma Kanda to Karma Yoga, where Krishna is emphasizing gradually when the creation happened, the demigods, and then you have to satisfy, you have to engage in the regulated activities, prescribed duties. So that's why this chapter, and then at the end we see that coming to bringing it to transcendence, who is the actual source, how these prescribed duties are created, and so that whole hierarchy we discussed in the last class. So that's why this section is titled 10 to 16 is Karma Kanda to Karma Yoga, bringing one level from lower level to the next level. And then the section we are in, the 17 to 35, is called Nishkama Karma Yoga, and setting also a correct example, as Krishna is giving example of Janaka Maharaj and example of himself, even though he doesn't have any duty to perform, but still he himself, Yadyad Acharita Sreshta Divetara Jana Sayat Pramanam Krute Lokastad Anuvartate, himself is setting that example in this context. So that's why this chapter, this specific section is titled as Nishkama Karma Yoga, with setting a concrete example, correct example. So we are in that specific section, and then later on we see after 36 to last, it's beware of lust, anger and greed. So Arjuna is asking what is it causing by these things. So then Krishna explains that obviously. So this is how this chapter is titled. Predominantly this chapter is titled Karma Yoga, and we see that, and from childhood many of us might have heard Suprabhatam, Venkateswara Suprabhatam, Kausalya Supraja Rama Purva Sandhya Pravartate Uttishta Narsardula Kartavyam Daivamannikam. There also Vishwamitra Muni speaking to, praying to Lord Ramachandra, O son of Kausalya, O Lord Rama, please wake up, this is early morning, and then perform your duties, offer your oblations. Kausalya Supraja Rama Purva Sandhya Pravartate Uttishta Narsardula, wake up. Kartavyam Daivamannikam. Lord doesn't have any duty to perform. Hare Krishna, please mute your lines kindly. So basically emphasizing this activity or duties is Krishna himself, and as the Lord appears in different forms, he himself is showing by his own example how prescribed duties or regulated activities, karma, various ways you can understand, or dharma, so occupational duty, whatever name you call it ultimately. So that's why it is emphasis is given in this chapter, Karma Yoga. So now in this specific verse 30, 31, 32, or even rather starting from 27 onward, Krishna is emphasizing, putting, basically talking about on the context of 3 modes of material nature. We see that Krishna is talking, and then in the last 30 and 31, 30 to 30th Krishna is talking about this is the purpose of Bhagavad Gita. Mai sarvani karmani sanyasya adhyatma chetata nirasi nirmamo bhutva sanyasya vigata jvaraha. Where Krishna is telling you have to give up, come out of your passion, come out of your ignorance. Vigata jvara means one who is lethargic, one who is procrastinating, one who is lazy, one who wants to keep activity. I will do tomorrow. This applies because many of these things, verses which we'll talk about more, is not only just those who are not taken up bhakti. It also applies to those who are in devotional service. Prabhupada talks about, gives wonderful example. We'll go into that in a few minutes. So that's why 3 modes of material. Here Krishna is emphasizing in verse number 30, lethargy, give up your laziness, give up your sometimes we procrastinate from not performing duties, even ordinary duties what we are supposed to take care. Then it causes a great disturbance sometimes, especially if it is in the office or in the business, in the important work especially. So the Krishna is telling, get up from this lethargy, give up your ignorance. And next he is telling, nirasi nirmama bhutta. Nirasi means don't expect, don't be attached to your results. Asi, nirmama, don't be attached to your mama means body, mine and my family, my extended family. So this is all coming under passion. So Krishna is telling, give up your ignorance, give up your passion. So come up all these two and be situated in goodness. That means don't be attached to results. That's what he is telling. Mai sarvani karmani. But perform all activities. Don't announce anything. Rather you perform. Mai sarvani karmani sanyasya adhyatma cheta. Adhyatma cheta, one who is offering or thinking or Bhagavad arpita nishkama karma yoga. Just as soon as we say nishkama karma means it could be those who are living and is not attached to the result, but at the same time they are not offering it to Krishna. But in a Vedic sense, in Sanatana Dharma, whenever we say Nishkama Karma means it is a Bhagavad Arpita. In general context, we are talking about Bhagavad Arpita Nishkama Karma Yoga. So that's what here in this specific section. So that's why in the 3.30 is very important. Prabhupada calling us purpose of Bhagavad Gita, because we have to give up these gradually attachments at the lower modes and come to the passion go above the passion and come to goodness, and ultimately we have to even go to Suddha Sattva, pure goodness. So otherwise what will happen, where we will go? Rupa Goswami is giving that Vurdham Gachanti Sattvastha, Madhye Gachanti Rajasa, Jaganna Guna Uttistha, Adho Gachanti Tamasa. One who is engaged in irreligious activities against scripture injunctions, then they will go to lower species of life. Or one who is engaged in passionate activities, they will be born in earthly planet. Madhya Gatnita Rajasa, passionate activities. One who is executing duties in the mode of goodness, which is illuminating, then he will be born in higher planets above this earthly planet. Bhuvar, Suvar, Sargaloka, Mahaloka, Janaloka, Tapaloka, Satyaloka, like that. So this is so that's why Krishna is emphasizing that 3.30, 31. Krishna is saying, one who is following with faith, Shraddhanto, Anasuyanto. Asuya means envy, but Anasuya means non-envious. And Krishna is also emphasizing later on, we'll see in 9th chapter, anybody who wants to understand devotional service or understand about spiritual subject, understand about me or come to me, then he must be non-envious. Then otherwise the confidential knowledge will be never revealed to him. You may study for many years together, you may practice, but you will never understand me, you will never attain me. So that's why it is very important. Iduntu te guhyatamam jnanam vijnanadam pravakshami anasuyave. Krishna is mentioning in 9.1 verse. So that's why it is very important that we understand, give up this enviousness. And then again, this not only in the regular circles, but that is prominent, very predominant enviousness is there in material world, because others have it, I don't have it. That kind of this attitude is there very much in office and everywhere we see. But in devotional service also, in devotees case also, don't expect the perfect world. When you come to any organization, this bound to happen. So everybody is on the path. There are so many raw mangoes. So it takes time to become a ripe mango. So if you follow the process, will become ripe at certain point of time, depending on how seriously we follow the instruction following the, getting the good seed and putting the nice water and whatever the mango tree requires for it to actually naturally ripe, not artificially ripe. Otherwise it becomes like artificially we are trying to show off how much devotion service we do, because devotion service is internal. It's not supposed to be publicized. I'm doing this, I'm doing that. So that is not the actual devotion service. Real devotion service means it is internal. It is a communication between you and the living entity and the Supreme Lord and the spiritual master. So and the spiritual master automatically knows what exactly we do and what is our intention, what is our mood. So that's why this enviousness must be understood very thoroughly. So that's why Srimad Bhagavatam begins with that. What is it? Dharma projatava kaitava atra paramo nirmatsaranam satam vedyam vastavam astu vastavam. So that nirmatsarana, matsarada means enviousness, nirmatsara. So one who is non-envious, for them only, Srimad Bhagavatam is specifically. But even if they are envious, someone has still some layers of enviousness. By reading, by hearing from the pure devotee, then they can get out of this enviousness. So that's why it is very important. Prabhupada gives many instructions how to remove this enviousness. One must always encourage others, seeing their good qualities, like a swan. That's why it is mentioned, Paramahamsa. Paramahamsa. So in the second verse itself also. Paramahamsa means they are swan. Swan is always looking, always at a clean place, always grabbing the good qualities, the milk out of water, separating the water and taking only milk, pure. So in that way, so the pure devotees or the devotees who wants to progress, come out of this enviousness, he must be always encouraging others, always glorifying others and their activities. Even you see 1% also still, we should glorify them, we should encourage them to do the devotion service. In this way we can come out of our bad qualities automatically by doing that. And then also chanting offenselessly. So Prabhupada encourages that try to chant properly with proper attention and following the instructions given, those 10 offenses, and then following the proper method to chant. And then also Prabhupada emphasizes don't put, because this also like example is like Aghasura. Aghasura is one of the demon who is representing this enviousness. And now in Pastimes we see that. So that is causing cruelty and violence and trouble out of enviousness, causing great pain to others. It also transforms into some degree unwillingness to help others. This is there. As devotees we see that also. In regular circle definitely that is there prominently. But in devotees also this is there. Not just one place. In all, any organization these things are there, because still we are in Kali Yuga. It's not so easy to come to that pure state quickly. So everybody is coming with their own baggage from the past lives. So for that fact, even Aghasura also has come with a baggage. So that's why he became Aghasura. Aghasura is the Aghasura, Bakasura and Putana. They all three are the sisters, brothers, sisters, same family. So Aghasura is representing this envious attitude in the previous life. But Aghasura, the greatness is astonishing thing is Aghasura was there trying to swallow, he took as a python role and trying to swallow all the cohort boys entered into the mouth of Aghasura. And then Krishna also, obviously because they all went inside, then Krishna also went in and then immediately expanded. Then obviously Aghasura was killed. Because Krishna went inside, then it purified the whole Aghasura. And then when he came out and all the cohort boys, even though he was killed, so to show the whole world, so for a minute, the Aghasura's actual light, the soul came out and showing it is there. Everybody could see that soul. Then it went into the body of the Supreme Lord. There, Acharyas Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur and others explaining in the 10th canto that Aghasura actually didn't get Sayujya Mukti, rather he got Sarupya Mukti. And then if we go back to the previous incident, he was actually son of Sankachuda, so in the previous life. And then he was so much puffed up, seeing Ashtavakra sage. His bodily features are not in a normal state. By seeing that, then immediately he laughed Then Astavakra cursed him, but later on he repented. Then he told, okay, we will be appearing in this way when Lord Krishna appears, and so by his touch, then you will be purified and you will be liberated. So in this way, that's how, by the sage's mercy, by the pure devotee's mercy, he could get, even though as a demon, he could get, even as a Putana also, we see that. So all three of them had a previous pastimes. Even Aghasura was in the also in the previous life, he was the son of a Hayagriva demon, and he also did like he was trying to mock, going to the Jajali Muni, his place, and trying to pick up the fishes in the river or lake nearby this Muni's ashram. He told him not to do that again and again. He still didn't listen, and then he tried to do the same thing. Then Jajal Muni cursed him. So you will become a baka, because that's what you are trying to catch fish. So you will obviously become like that. So he ended up as a baka, but he repented for his activity later on. So that's how Krishna, because of the sage's mercy, then he was in that way he was identified, or he was associated with Krishna, and he got liberation in this way. So we see these demons are representing in this way, especially Aghasura, envious. So we have to come out of this envious attitude by serving, especially Guru and the Supreme Lord. So by pleasing, especially serving the Vaishnavas, serving the Guru, and engaging in fully in pure devotional service. That means Mamcha Abhyabhicharyana Bhakti Yoga, means pure devotion. Abhyabhicharyana means no tinge of karma or gnana. Try to as much as do physical service. Now it's COVID. Still, in sometimes festival times you can do, but when it comes open fully, try to do, because these mind, intelligence, senses, especially senses are so, it's very difficult to control. So that's why by engaging in physical service, especially the worshipping the deity indirectly, if you are not second initiated, you can still do indirectly so many things. You can bring things, you can cut and give things. You can do so many different services in the temple. This helps actually to come out of, by serving devotees, by serving the Supreme Lord, always helps come out of these unwanted qualities. So that is also instruction from Sri Prabhupada, by serving these devotees. Otherwise, because Prabhupada mentions, snake is harmful, snake is envious. It always bites, whether you even feed milk also, still it will bite. That is its nature. But Prabhupada says snake is more than a snake, actually envious living and human beings is even more dangerous, because snake you can control by using a mantra. These snake charmers use mantras to control. At least snake can be controlled, but those who are envious of those who are human beings envious of others, then it is very hard to control. You cannot control. They are more dangerous than a snake. You can imagine. So that's why so where we can see that this Aghasura, how it is representing, and we can also see Prabhupada gives one example how to come out of this enviousness, means following, especially we have to become pure. That means we need to make sure following regulative principles, especially this verse is talking about, don't come out of follow especially regulative principles. Rules and regulations are very important. As soon as in the pastime of King Vena, the King Vena in Canto 4, where Anga was a great devotee of the Lord, and by the mercy of the Lord, he got a wife who is not so qualified, so he naturally became detached. Suniti, I think her name. And then he didn't have any sons. He performed one sinful activity in the past life. Because of that, he didn't have any sons. Then the sages, he approached sage as a king he is supposed to have. Then finally, by their mercy, he got a son, and he performed all kinds of mischief. He used to mercilessly kill even the young age kids. He used to play with them, and then he used to kill them. So no no good qualities, no following any shastric injunction. He used to behave, and Anga became so upset. So seeing the qualities of this son, he left the kingdom. And then obviously these Brahmanas, they established Vena on the throne. So in that pastime at the end, Prabhupada says in one of the verses, because he disobeyed the order, one who disobeys the order of a spiritual master, one who disobeys the authority, especially spiritual master, guru, sadhu, shastra, especially sadhu, pure devotee, because Krishna may, for somebody who is offending him, somebody may criticizing him, he may relieve him, but somebody who is offending or criticizing a pure devotee of the Lord, then that's it. Krishna will not tolerate. We see examples again and again. So in this specific case, Brahmanas came and instructed them after some time, after seeing continue to perform all kinds of religious activity. He stopped completely. Nobody can perform any religious activity. He completely put full stop, because he was thinking himself, he is the Supreme Lord, he is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And we see from that conversation also, King Vena, when the Brahmanas came and instructed them, tried to instruct him nicely. As a king, you are supposed to make sure that everybody is following the 4 Varna, 4 ashramas, Kshatriyas, Vaisyas, Sudra, Brahmana, everybody is doing their duties. And that is your job. And because you should be engaging others, and you also should also engage in the worship of the Supreme Lord as a representative. You are Naradevata. So that way you will be satisfied and everybody will be satisfied. Otherwise, everything will be put into ruination. They instructed in so many different ways, please worship the Supreme. Then what he did, he instructed back. What you are telling, you are like, I am the king, I am the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Everybody lives in the king's body. The Supreme Personality, Indra, Chandra, everybody, God, everybody lives. You are supposed to worship me, I am the Supreme Person. You are supposed to, rather you are acting like a woman who is not worshipping. Instead of worshipping the husband, you are worshipping somebody who is another husband, another person. So you are acting like that. Instead of you are supposed to serve me, king, rather you are trying to show me you are trying to worship somebody else, and you are telling me also to worship somebody else. This is irreligious. You don't know what is religion, what is irreligion. Is completely opposite. So Prabhupada says this is how this in Kali Yuga, demoniac persons, those who are completely envious, they don't know what is actual religion, what is not religion. Pravrittincha nivrittincha na vidur asura jana. Na satyam, na saucham, na cha acharo, teshu vidyate. Neither you find cleanliness, neither you find truth, neither you find any proper behavior. So this is the quality of the those who are envious, those who are especially kama, krodha, lobha, moha, matsarya, starting with the lust. Lust is the one which is causing it to greed and anger. Then gradually it leads on to that enviousness and other things. Mada, moha, pride and enviousness. So that's why it is very important to make sure that we don't disobey. We won't disobey the orders, especially spiritual master. That's why generally they don't give instruction. They don't, even though those who are initiated first or second initiated are experienced, generally they don't give instruction. Because if they give instruction, they are supposed to follow. If they don't follow, it's an offense. Then they will not be able to progress much. So that's why generally they don't give instruction. Unless they see the qualification in the disciple, then they will give. So that's why we need to be qualified. We need to earn that qualification. Don't become God. Try to become godly. Try to become saintly by serving others, by developing, by automatically serving gurus, following instructions, serving the devotees, serving the Supreme Lord. We will develop those qualities naturally. We don't need to externally try for it. And Prabhupada gives the example by serving the devotee. It is like Prabhupada, pure devotee is like a matchbox. One who is living in the disciple is like a dry wood. So as soon as the fire is there, as soon as when it is dry, right, you are trying to ignite. When it is dry, both of them has to be proper quality. Pure devotee obviously is represented here. Then it will fire up. Then the disciple automatically get transformed. But minute the disciple is trying to water it down, again the wood is not dry. Again and again you are trying to water it. That means your sinful activities, irreligious activities. One day you dried up, then it is fired up. Next day again you are engaged. Just one day, today I will not chant, or today I will just go and eat whatever I like. Then obviously finished, because one day is enough to accumulate those sinful activities. And then again mind and intelligence is not in the proper state of consciousness. So this way, so that we are keep on doing the watering and drying. There is no end to it. This is going on. So this is called anartha nivurti. So anartha, that's why one who is not serious enough, then it takes 100 lifetimes. So that's why Prabhupada emphasized, if you are absorbed in the fire of Krishna consciousness, then you will be able to go back to Godhead in 3 lifetimes. If you are more and more very serious, then 1 lifetime. For some of them, Prabhupada explained, Rohari Prabhu's daughter, Rohari Prabhu's sister, Prabhupada's disciple is Rohari Prabhu, and his sister is also Bhakta Dasi in LA. She used to be in charge of the book distribution, BBT. She served like anything, always trying to please Srila Prabhupada. And Prabhupada told she will go back to Godhead. And in the midst of devotees doing kirtan, she left the body and she went back to Godhead. Prabhupada gave that to many others also. Jayananda Prabhu, Vishnu Jan Maharaj. Prabhupada told clearly other devotees. Because by seeing their humility, by seeing, especially Vishnu Jan Maharaj, from morning to evening, unending, continuously used to do kirtan, no stop, no tiredness, nothing. That is fully blissful, always in chanting, always doing Sankirtan, always trying to. He brought so many devotees in Krishna. Jayananda Prabhu also same thing. He used to pick up garbage, everything, any service. Somebody is criticizing, he used to go away from that place. Everything he did from beginning to end of his life, even while sitting he had cancer, while sitting in the hospital also, he was donating money. He's not using anything for his service. So he's completely aloof. Internally, he's completely detached. The Prabhupada went back to Godhead. So that's why his picture is there on a Rathayatra cart in every Rathayatra. Prabhupada instructed. So this is the way. So by being dry always, by not performing sinful activities, by following the scriptural injunction. Yes, Shastra vidim vistritya vartate kamakar na siddhim namapnodana lavate param. One who is giving up Shastra, injunctions of Shastra, that's why it's called Vaidhi Sadhana Bhakti. Rules and regulations must be followed. If you don't follow, then automatically na siddhim namapnoti, na lavate param. No perfection, no happiness. So we have to suffer the consequences. And Guru also gets it. Especially if you are first initiated, little bit, if you second initiated, even more percentage goes to Guru also. Guru has to take the reactions. Prabhupada emphasized, don't make me work, don't bring me back again to this world. Prabhupada told, be serious. Just like I do, you also follow the same routine as I do. So in this way, Prabhupada emphasized, always be absorbed in the fire of Krishna consciousness. Worship Lord Gauranga at home. He instructed Samipya Dasi, the disciple of Prabhupada. Worship Lord Gauranga at home. Do chanting 16 rounds minimum, and then read Prabhupada books every day, and be absorbed in fire of Krishna consciousness. By just doing this, he'll go back to Godhead. Prabhupada wrote a letter to her. So in this way, we can understand how important it is to follow the instruction of spiritual master in order for us to give up this envious attitude, give up and following. By just simply following that instruction, we can really become pure devotee. Time is 7:45. I think we can take questions. Anybody has questions?
Krishna Prabhu, I don't have a question, but I'm sorry I missed that point you were explaining about the firewood being dry and wet. I was having some speaker audio problems. It was breaking off on my end. If you could please repeat it. I mean, if someone has a question, they can ask it. Otherwise,
basically Prabhupada explains as that the rules and regulations is called a drying process. Okay, one who is following rules and regulations, he will be always a dry wood. As soon as your matchstick, the pure devotee is like a matchstick, and then immediately, as soon as it lights up, touches the wood, then it fires. A fire immediately generates. That means a devotion. Everything, whatever contamination is there, by even fraction of, because Pancha Dravid Maharaj asked Prabhupada, how can I take this word from the Shastra that lava matra sadhusana? Even a fraction of a minute. How is it possible? Prabhupada said, it is possible. Because you are constantly doing, keep on performing religious activities, simple activities, keep on doing it, keep on making it wet, and then again drying it, keeping again wet, drying it. Then when will it happen? When we will become pure? So that's why when you are in touch with pure devotee, when you are like a dry wood, then immediately you will get liberated very quickly, rapidly the progress is there. But you keep on adding to dry wood, you are adding water. And Prabhupada also gives the example of a fire. Sparks are coming out from the fire when you are lighting fire. Those sparks can fall on the water, fall on the dry grass, fall on the wet grass. If it is fall on the dry grass, then it will again can get ignited and go back. It can go again become fire. If it falls on a wet grass, it may fire a little bit and then again stop. If it falls on water, completely. That means mode of ignorance. The middle is mode of passion. Then mode of goodness is it fires up. And then gradually, if we are operating on that, gradually we come to that Shuddha Sattva. So that's what Prabhupada is emphasizing, that it is a matter of. Otherwise, because Duryodhana also associated, Dhritarashtra also associated with Supreme Lord Shri Krishna. Why is it so? Even with Prabhupada also, Ramanuja, all these acharyas, many associated. What is that they didn't get transformed? Is it something lacking in the pure devotee? No, it is the other way around. Because it is both parties, we have to see both sides. If somebody doesn't have the qualification, doesn't have the proper, what you call, qualification only, because he has to be like a dry wood. Then, as soon as he in touch, then because if he has this envious attitude, as Krishna is emphasizing, that what is it? Isam te guhyatamam pravakshan anasuyave. If you are anasuyave, means if you are envious, then how will you get? So unless you have to follow. Okay, if you are envious, that's fine. Everybody has bad quality. Everybody has to start somewhere. But you associate with spiritual master and not just simply ask, give me blessings. No. If you follow instruction, then even if that bad quality is there, that automatically will be removed very quickly. But if we just simply ask for blessings from advanced devotee sages when we meet, then instead of following instruction, then that is not an actual good proposal. So rather we have to follow the instruction. That is the more important than Vapu. One is more important. Prabhupada emphasized that very much. I didn't associate with my spiritual master. Hardly I did 10 times. That's what Prabhupada told. But one thing I did is I always followed every instruction, whatever my spiritual master gave, everything I followed as it is. So that is my credit. That's how I was able to do whatever transformation, whatever I was able to convert or able to bring Krishna consciousness to these many people in this world. That's what Prabhupada is telling. I hope. Is that clear, Prabhu?
Yes, Prabhu. Very nice. Thank you.
You always Prabhupada. And we see these examples throughout Srimad Bhagavatam. We see even Chaitanya Charitamrita in the beginning, Lord Nityananda, first pastime, we see in Adi Leela, Gunarnava Mishra is a neophyte. So basically this verse is also telling, come out from the neophyte stage to the next stage. How will we come? Clearly Rupa Goswami is giving. Ishvara tadadina balisesu dvisastuja. Krupa maitri upeksha. So he's telling, so Ishvara, you develop love for Ishvara. Then tadadina is devotees. You make a friendship, you serve them. Ishvara tadadina balisesu. One who is innocent, one who is coming up, just coming to Krishna consciousness, is in the beginning stage. You serve them, you be merciful to them, be compassionate to them. Ishvara tadadina balisesu dvisastuja. One who is enviousness, you are in the lower stage or you are in the Madhyamadhikaram, that is not up to you. Let pure devotees, let the disciples of Sri Prabhupada, those who are advanced, let them do. Because if we associate, we try to them, then we may not be able to, and rather we may also get something back also. So that's why Rupa Goswami is instructing. Don't be staying in like Gunarnava Mishra, who was a Brahmana, second initiated, he was ringing a bell. And when the devotee walked in, Nityananda Prabhu's associate, he didn't even greet, he didn't even see, he neglected completely. And then he was still doing his archana, he was busy in archana. After that also, okay, alright, you did archana, okay, after came out, then you were supposed to greet, you were supposed to say, at least meet and ask him how he is and how I can serve you. Nothing, he simply was busy with his own worship. This is then the Kanishta Adhikari stage, simply is about with the Lord only. He is not interested in serving devotees or developing relationship, loving relationship with devotees. So that's why that example is very prominent. But in the same instance, we see that Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami's brother was there. He also saw the same thing, and Gunarnava Mishra didn't accept Lord Nityananda Prabhu. He accepted Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Lord Krishna, but he didn't accept Lord Balaram. So that is his, first of all, mistake. And this Miniketan Ramdas was a disciple of Nityananda Prabhu. He got upset. Second thing happened, Krishnadas Kaviraj brother also didn't accept Lord Nityananda. Then he got even more upset. Then he broke his flute and left. Then Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami, seeing what his brother did, then he chastised his brother. And then that day night, Lord Nityananda Prabhu appeared, and then he instructed him. Immediately next day morning, you go out to Vrindavan, and he instructed, gave clear instructions. So Lord Nityananda Prabhu, by the mercy of Lord Nityananda Prabhu, the Adi Guru, he received 10 gifts. It is explained like, Adav Shraddha to all the way to love of God. So Krishna Prema, he received Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami one by one. He is able to go to Vrindavan, he is able to go Rupa Goswami, meet Rupa Goswami, Raghunath Das Goswami, Sanatana Goswami, and then he could get the instruction. Finally, he could get the mercy of the Lord through them. So he could attain from all these stages, finally attained Krishna Prema. He received 10 gifts because of the mercy of Lord Nityananda Prabhu, understanding. So that's why when devotee or especially the Lord is being criticized, then either we have to leave the place or we have to do something about it. We should simply not neglect when the Lord is especially criticized, or especially in this case, Lord Nityananda Prabhu was been basically his disciple. Miniketan Ramdas was not recognized, was not served properly, was offending, basically. Offending a great devotee is not, Lord will not like at all. So, in this way, so many examples that throughout Srimad Bhagavatam we see, throughout Chaitanya Charitamrita we see, Gopal Chapel also another example. Out of enviousness, he tried to criticize, tried to put blood, tried to put wine and flesh, whatnot, in front of Shiva's Angam, because then he was very much envious, became envious. How come Shiva's Thakur was able to see the Lord, Sankirtan, closed doors? So, I think in the interest of time, we'll stop.